It's always a great start to the week when you can chat with our director of scouting, the one and only Craig Button. Craig, I want to take you back to one of your appearances on this show. It was last Thursday. Craig, we just saw our brand new trade bait board, so we're going to bring up the top 5 here. And intriguing names. We've already talked about Alex DeBrincat. I'm curious if any of these other names intrigue you as we head into the draft in 11 days.
None of them intrigue me. Can we go to 6 to 10, please? Just kidding. Just kidding.
I've been laughing about that all weekend. Okay, Craig, as you requested, a week later, we got 6 to 10 for you. And these are intriguing names. Who's most likely to be moved here, Craig, and where's the best fit?
Yeah, you know, I look at Brett Pesce, who's such a good defenseman. Right shot defenseman. He can play big minutes. He can play all those important situations against the other team's better players. Contract is really good. So when I look at Brett Pesce and I think about fits, you know, you want to improve your blue line. You want to move your blue line forward in a significant way. Brett Pesce will do exactly that. And who needs some blue line improvement? I would suggest the Toronto Maple Leafs do. A right shot defender, can play the big minutes, has been deep in the playoffs with the Carolina Hurricanes, and I think that you can play him with so many different types of partners, and it's not going to limit his game. In fact, it'll enhance his partner's game and push the team's opportunity to be a better team against better competition and emerge victorious. Brett Pesce would fit very nicely for any number of teams. I'm looking at Toronto. Also on that board, John Gibson, a young goaltender that's got 4 years left at $6.4 million. Hello, New Jersey Devils! I think that would be a good place for you to start making some phone calls. You got a really good team. Excellent blue line, you're young, and you saw how good you can be this year. Listen, John Gibson is an upgrade over all your goaltenders, and that is a fact. If you can get him and lock him in for 4 years, and now you have this type of goaltending, I would suggest that the New Jersey Devils move right into serious Stanley Cup contender.
And right after locking up Jesper Bratt for long-term and trying to get Timo Meier locked up long-term, it would be a great summer for Lou Lamoriello and, well, I guess it's not Lou Lamoriello. Sorry. Lou's on the island. I'm thinking it 20 years ago, Craig. It's also buyout season. That's one thing I do know for a fact, Craig. Last week, the Canucks bought out defenseman Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They will owe him $19.5 million over the next 8 years. Craig, you've been saying for the last 2 years on this show, that the Canucks need to add to their blue line. They need more bona fide NHL defensemen. They're going to lose Ethan Bear possibly till the holidays because of an injury, and now they're without OEL. Is this the wrong direction for this team to go?
No, they didn't need to add defensemen. They needed to add top second pair, number 2 defensemen to their blue line. That's what they need. Oliver Ekman isn't that. Ethan Bear isn't that. And you have Quinn Hughes, a clear number 1. They traded for Philip Roenick. They had no cap space to improve the blue line. It's not about adding NHL caliber defenders. A few years ago, I said they were cornering the market on 6-7 defensemen. That's not getting you anywhere. And the Vancouver Canucks have proven it unequivocally. They have a number 1 goaltender, they have excellent forwards, and they have a number 1 defenseman in Quinn Hughes. If they don't add a 2, a 3, and a 4, 2 out of those 3 spots have to be filled. I think they did it with Roenick. The money that they freed up by buying out Oliver Ekman-Larsson gives them a real opportunity. We just talked about Brett Pesce. He'd be a great fit out in Vancouver. If they don't buy out Oliver Ekman-Larsson, they don't have the money to improve the blue line in a significant way. There's lots of defensemen that can play in your bottom pair. In fact, the Vancouver Canucks have a lot of them. They need to be better than that.
Love that answer, Craig. In Toronto, there are rumors circulating that the Maple Leafs could potentially buy out defenseman TJ Brodie, which would be interesting because Brad Treliving once had TJ Brodie in Calgary. So if you're Brad Treliving, the new GM of the Maple Leafs, does that move make sense?
Well, here's how you got to look at it, in my view, with TJ Brodie. TJ Brodie has 1 year left. And The buyout would give the Toronto Maple Leafs next season $5 million in cap space. They would be hit with a cap charge the year after, but the cap's going to go up, so you can manage it. So when you look at Brad Treliving trying to look at his team, how he's going to improve his team next year, this gives him an opportunity, if he wants to go that route, to get $5 million and to make sure that he can go out and explore the defenseman market to improve it. And maybe you get a different type of defender, not maybe somebody, hey, TJ Brodie's pretty decent, pretty darn good, but you might need a different mix. You might need a different type of player on that blue line. And that's what a buyout of TJ Brodie would afford Brad Treliving and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Change the mix, because you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs in the regular season, really good. Playoffs, not so good. The mix has to change.
Switching gears a bit, Craig, Hockey Hall of Fame set to announce the class of 2023 on Wednesday. Henrik Lundqvist appears to be a lock. Craig, if you had a vote, who else would you like to see on the list this year?
Yeah, what I would say to you very quickly, Jay, bet the house on Henrik Lundqvist going into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not likely, it's automatic. So let's move on from there. Alex Mogilny has been a Hall of Famer. He just hasn't been elected yet. And to me, get him in there. He has done more than enough during his NHL career and his international career to show his worthiness as a Hall of Famer. It's about time he gets in there and is recognized for a great hockey career. And that's what it's about. Mike Vernon, another player that deserves to be in there, along with Tom Barrasso. Yeah, a lot of people don't accuse me of being a goalie hugger, but I'm a goalie hugger right now, and I'm a goalie hugger for Vernon and Barrasso. You look at what they did during the course of their careers, magnificent. And I think it screams Hall of Fame, and I think it's about time they get their due recognition with an election to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
All right. So Sabres fans very happy with Craig Button right now. We're all happy with Craig Button. Oh, and apologies to Tom Fitzgerald, the GM of the New Jersey Devils. Eventually, I'll get it right. Craig, always great to chat with you, buddy.